It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
You know, when you say the Buss family decided to sell, we're really talking about 5 of the 6 Buss siblings, and they believe they have the right to do this because of what's called a tag-along provision in the original sale to Mark Walter, which is if Mark Walter ever decided to sell his shares, they had the option to tag along to the sale that he makes at the same valuation. Jeannie's point here is that they can't do anything without her. And she did not even vote in the family vote that took place on Monday morning. She just abstained. Her lawyers have pointed to a 2017 court ruling, a court order, previous case that she had against her older brothers that said the trust can't do anything without her say so, because this trust, which is what owns the shares of the Lakers. It's not held individually like each of the 6 siblings owns 3%. The family trust owns all 18% of the Lakers shares.
I got to admit, I tuned out. This is really important. If your dad has built a multi-million or billion-dollar business, and if there are different moms, generational rivalries, because there's a big age group among the siblings, if people don't like each other, and if you're going to struggle to divvy up the millions. That's over here. I'm way over there. What about you, Captain? Did you check any of those boxes?
I don't know. I don't check any of those boxes.
Yeah, see, so I think they're going to be able to sell. Because I think when you own stuff in the U.S., you get to sell it. Now, they may have to give lawyers a lot of money to get to that point, but, we'll see. How well will the Lakers be run by the new owners? It's going to be really different because the front office is going to change over, and it's going to be all new. And when the Lakers get Hall of Famers running it, like anybody else, they do really well. And you get a little more wiggle room because Jerry West is a Hall of Famer. When he won the Memphis Grizzlies, he made him a playoff team. Made a bunch of smart decisions, but Memphis, obviously, doesn't have the built-in advantages that Los Angeles has, obviously. He did a great job of getting Shaq and Kareem. Shaq and Kareem wanted to go there. And he never would have gotten Kobe to Memphis because Kobe didn't want to go to Memphis. Threatened to go play in Europe. Already spoke Italian, had citizenship. It's a very real threat. Now, the exciting NBA news here is that ESPN's NBA insiders, filling time in August, decided to answer the question, which of the top 4 picks will win an NBA championship first? Now, I think that's a loaded question. That supposes that more than one of them will win a championship. There's a real threat that none of them win a championship. But if you want to say A.J. DeBonsa, Wizards, Darryn Peterson, Jazz, Cameron Boozer to the Grizzlies, Caleb Wilson to the Bulls, well, the Bulls and Wizards haven't exactly been run well. So even if they got a great talent, will they mess it up? The Grizzlies and the Jazz, I think, have been run better. And the Jazz are being run by people who have built championships before. And ESPN NBA insiders voted Darryn Peterson as the most likely candidate. Oh, it's going to happen. It's happening. Michael Scott in the office. It's happening. It's happening. And you say that's different because this would be joy and that would be sheer panic. Yeah, I think when there's that much joy, there's very little difference. Now, I think that Michael Scott meme works really well right here. It's happening. Was that the fire cold open when he did that? I've seen the meme. I forget the context. I think it was.
It was when Dwight.
Yeah.
It was when Dwight did the
Dwight's
fire
been
drill.
out heating up the door handles. Hilarious. Putting the little wedges in to lock the doors. And then narrating the whole thing. Oh, there is smoke. Where is the nearest escape route? I didn't watch it live, and we'll get to why later in the show. I mean, I thought The Office was hilarious when I finally saw it, but I didn't see it till the pandemic when I binged it when there was no sports because I'm always watching sports. And that's going to be a topic for our next segment. But when I saw that, I immediately said, I think there were maybe there were 4 of us watching. There were 3 or 4 of us watching. We were watching it as a family. Somebody might have wandered away. And like, back it up. I got to see it again. There's a lot going on there. Stanley had a heart attack. That was hilarious. And that's what's going to happen if the Jazz win a championship. You're not old enough to remember this because you are, I think we established you're 26, right? Anything that happened in the 1900s was before you.
Yes, that's right.
So the Jazz had already been here. So I'm trying to think. They've been here almost 20 years. Now people have waited 45 years, okay? But in 20 years, people were frantic for a title. I mean, the clock was running out on Stockton Malone. They were mid-30s. And people were obsessing about them and their decline by the time they turned 30. And they're playing the Bulls in the finals the first time, and they go to Chicago and they lose the first 2. And they lose the game 1 on a shot at the buzzer. And there's this whole notion like, well, you're not coming back. You're not beating Jordan 4 in a row to win the title. You're not beating Jordan in a game 7. It's already over. And realistically, that was right. But they won game 3, and it was pretty exciting. And the Bulls had a late rally, and Jordan had a 3 to tie it. He missed it, but he didn't have much time, and it was a long shot, and he was pressured and kicked off the rim. People, oh, yeah. So then, game 2's epic. So many epic things happen. I mean, I feel like I've forgotten. I've seen a bazillion games since then. I've forgotten, but this one sticks out. Stockton has the steal where he picks Jordan's pocket when Jordan's spinning, and Stockton throws a 60-yard pass and comes in over the top of Malone's head. He catches it, lays it in, beats the defender to the rim, and Stockton hits what would now be a Steph Curry logo 3. I mean, he hit a deep 3. I mean, he took it, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're supposed to be passing, dude!" And bang, drills it right. So they win the game. I go outside to do a live shot. And I'm telling you right now, and I'm not dressing this up later on, you have never, and it's 2-2. Like anything can happen. And it would. Jordan was about to have the flu game, and then they were going to win game 6 on, Steve Kerr's shot. But it felt like they could win it. And people were so hyped up at the thought of that. 300 West was a traffic jam. The entire plaza, which has now been redone, but the trees and all that, the plaza was covered in people running and jumping in different directions. I don't know how they weren't crashing into each other. It was like they were all spring-loaded, bouncing. The adrenaline. You could feel it. And I'm doing a live shot, and I tell the photographer, do not turn on that light. Moths to a flame, man. I will be getting run over. And, I mean, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not a former offensive lineman. I'm plenty big enough. 6 feet, 200 pounds. And I'm like, I got no chance. I will get steamrolled. Finally turn it on. Sure enough, moths to a flame. People are hanging out of cars screaming, woo! Woo! Yeah, game 5 Friday at 7, man. Come on, calm down. Yeah! I saw this and I thought, oh, people will be so out of control. I do wonder if it'll matter as much. The town was bigger and more tightly wired. And there are more people here who haven't lived here their whole lives, so maybe that dilutes it a little bit. Nah, it'll be crazy. It'll be nuts.
No, if they ever get back there, it'll be wild.
They took the grass out on that interchange on I-80 at 1300 South, but that was all grass, and they mowed Go Jazz and a logo into the grass. I mean, the town was out of control. It was taking over lawn mowing. I saw this. Darryn Peterson is going to be the first. Yeah! Yeah, let's go right now. I could just see people on the plaza, man. They were out of control. It was awesome. And the good thing is, there was no Wrigley Field bleacher brawl that we were talking about yesterday. There was none of that. I didn't see anybody get beat up. I didn't see anybody brandishing weapons. Nobody drove onto a sidewalk. But I'm telling you, they were just cruising up and down, screaming, absolutely packed, out of their mind. The Nets owner says the Knicks title run was embarrassing. He insisted that crosstown rivals' recent success will not alter Brooklyn's rebuild trajectory. I agree. You're not going anywhere. You've been going anywhere for a while. You got no ideas. Suns are going to install an exterior video display ahead of All-Star games. Shouldn't every NBA arena have this? Shouldn't every NBA arena be a gathering point? Will fire marshals complain? Is that the problem? Video boards used to be, we're going to go into the Wayback Machine here. You're going to love this. You're not going to, you have been born, you're spoiled. I resent you. It's day 3. I resent you, Alex.
For video boards?
I resent you for so many things, and I'm going to list them in the next segment. You get so many things I didn't get when I was your age. Now, I have to admit, I got this sense of discovery. I mean, every year we were getting Christmas gifts as sports fans. What? You can what? Wow. But you get them all. You're spoiled. You got them all right away. You don't know what it's like to have the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 televised, or not televised. You do know what it's like to have it televised. I can remember the first time I was over to friends and I saw, what? You could put the NCAA Sweet 16 on TV? Wow. What? Video boards in a stadium? You can go to the game and get replays? Don't get me started on phones.
I can watch it from my pocket.
Spoiled. You are going to watch it. You're going to watch it during the show. You're not even going to pay attention to PK and I. You'd be watching the British Open or Wimbledon. We don't do a show on Sunday, or you'd be watching an NFL game from London or Germany. That's why we don't do Sunday shows, because we can't get you to pay attention. We resent you. All right, I spent too much time on this. That's excellent. They're putting a video display outside. All stadiums and arenas should have them. Big gathering point. Come on down. Not everybody can afford to go in. The games, the prices are just unreal. Mind-blowing. That's where you're getting screwed, Alex. That's what, when I start picking on you, you got to learn to stand up for yourself. You know, DJ, you got into games for nothing. Do you see what they're charging me? Where am I supposed to come up with that kind of disposable income? Don't lecture me, DJ. That's what you need to bring with me. All right, DJ and PK.
#NFL.
I think Mexico City probably be or Monterrey. I think those would be probably if I was a bet man, I would say those would probably be the next spots for the NFL. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you've seen the Mexico City game when it was Cardinals and Niners. It was like a sea of red. And so it's pretty incredible. We had Sam Darnold is not in this season. We shot the second season. This is our second season actually down there. And he came out this last season, and the amount of Seahawk fans that came out of nowhere just to come see him show up to the game was pretty incredible and special. And I think when most guys get out there, it's a little bit unexpected for them. But yeah, for me, if I had a bet, I would say probably Mexico would be the next stop.
No, you're wrong. And if they do it, it won't work. Period. Should have cut that off. I got no patience this morning. I don't know what it is. Maybe this thing's haunted. Whatever haunts PK every day is now haunting me. Do you think the studio's haunted? Is that the problem?
It could be.
Here's the deal. I know multiple teams that have gone down there in multiple sports. And players get told, you can't leave the hotel. That's what they get told. You cannot leave the hotel. It's not safe. You're a target. Now, I don't know. Mexico's got a ton of big-time athletes making a ton of money. And they move around in the city. And this isn't just a Mexico problem. I've heard this all over Central America and South America. There are players from Venezuela and Colombia, depending on what's going on in the country. They don't want to go home because it's not safe. You're such a target. There's such poverty. There's such crime. We are all spoiled with the amount of safety we have here. And it's not that dangerous things don't happen here, because they do. Obviously, it's in the news every day. But no, it's different. When a player comes to Major League Soccer and he calls, there's a guy who went to Portland, and he calls a guy in Utah, Javier Morales, and says, what's it like? And Javier says, I don't worry when I go to training, and I don't worry when we get on an airplane. You've got to fly a lot here. It's different. You got to fly to games, and it travels hard, and it'll tire you out. But he said, I don't worry. I leave my wife and kids at home. We live in a neighborhood called Sugar House, and I don't think about it. It's fine. And boom, star player goes to Portland, and Portland wins an MLS Cup because of it. They got good players, but it is such a deal. And we have these things happen occasionally here. There's stories about Kirk Gibson getting held in his garage. I mean, you could certainly be a target here because of your fame and the amount of money you make, but it's way different there. And when players are just flat out told at the airport, you get on this bus, maybe on the tarmac, and you go with a police escort straight to the hotel, security, people with guns on the hotel floor. You don't leave the hotel floor. You go on a bus, you go to the game. You do not go outside the stadium. You go straight into the locker room. And then after the game, straight to the airport. That's how it works. And you can talk to baseball, football, basketball, soccer. You can pick whatever team you want. I've heard this over and over. And I thought that they're going to put teams in Monterey and you're going to publish people's salaries? I don't see it. I don't see how that works. I don't see how they get the security. I don't see what player wants to be there. I think it'd be a disaster for agency. I think people would be bolting. If you get drafted, you get drafted again. I don't know. I mean, I get them talking about it, and the one-off games are great, and the crowds are awesome. But I just can't reconcile those two things. I've been told all these stories, and then I think guys are going to live down there. I don't see it. Roger Goodell says, no doubt the NFL have a team based outside of the U.S. Travel seems massive to me. London seems obvious. Toronto seems obvious, but they don't want to go after the CFL and kill it. And for some reason, it's like the only place the NFL has mercy. I swear the NFL is going to put a triple header on New Year's Day one day. Screw the college game. They don't care. Get out. They're putting games on Monday Night Football, Saturday. They've expanded the playoffs to teams we don't need. They're going to let in another 8 and 9 team to the playoffs. They let in one last year. They're going to let another one in. Why? College can't have a TV time slot. We must have every time slot. And then they have mercy on Toronto in the NFL. But the Bills flirted with it, but now they got their new stadium, and they're not going. So I guess it's L.A. it's London or Germany. But, man, that's a lot of travel. Von Miller begins to work on his dream of being a Dallas Cowboy. Sounds like a nightmare to me, but sure, okay, go be a Cowboy. You can't win the Super Bowl. Jerry's going to meddle and get in the way. Running back Najee Harris has a lot to prove after signing with the Giants. You know, this whole me against the world thing gets tiring, but sometimes it's true, and I think this is a case where it's true. I'm with him. You do have a lot of time. If the NFL thought you were really good, you would not have been available to sign in mid-August. You wouldn't have been. Whether it's age, whether it's decreased production, whether it's injury, whatever it is, if you're one of these players, and it seems like I'm reading a different player every day, who's kind of a named guy. I mean, we heard of Keenan before, right? He went to the Colts, and now you heard of Najee, and he's going to the Giants. Yeah, you do have something to prove. Kyle Shanahan dismisses the idea that running back, the McCaffrey would be sitting out for a new deal. I assume he's sitting out because he's hurt. There's all kinds of stats out there. They run him a lot. They give him a million touches because he's really good, and then within a year he breaks down. Soft tissue injuries, major, whatever, and then he breaks down. I didn't think he was holding out for a new deal. I thought anytime he misses practice is because he's hurt again. And that dude takes a beating when he plays. He's really good. But he's 30 now, so you just assume him and really the whole team. They got a handful of guys in their 30s now who are going to be really important to the team. Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield, we're going to shock a lot of people. I don't think you are, but, you're supposed to say it, so go ahead and say it. I don't think you are. I think that when you see these best division, worst division, which I see on this TV to my left as I fill time all summer waiting for the NFL to start, you can make great arguments, but the best divisions are the NFC North. It's clearly good. The last place team had a winning record. That division's really good. The NFC West, because they had the two best teams in football, and they had the Niners, who had an argument for being team 3, 4, or 5. Cardinals kind of weaken them because they're terrible. And then I think you got to go AFC West, although it's clearly slipped. So I think it's third now until the Chiefs get back to being the Chiefs. And then the worst divisions, it's the NFC South, number 1. That's the worst division in football. So even if you win it, I don't think you're shocking people. Oh, you went 10-7 in that. Well, you had six cake games. Good for you. Probably the AFC South after that. Chiefs' Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator, says his wife will make a full recovery after being shot. So good to hear there. And back to my earlier point, safety, bad stuff happens. Bad stuff can happen to you anywhere. Just playing the odds. But good to hear that she's on a road to recovery. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
This is a fascinating wrinkle to hear Michigan people talk about Utah transfers as some of the most important players to your success, which also has the domino effect. Utah lost some pretty good players who could have helped them go and compete for a Big 12 title in year 1 of the Morgan Scalley era. Dig a little deeper, NFL draft exits on the lines of scrimmage. Lots of production going on both lines of scrimmage. And all of a sudden, I find myself, Amanda, thinking that I might actually have more confidence in Morgan Scalley, the coach in waiting, being able to take over and know how to line them up and send them out there than I do in them being able to maintain that 10-11 win standard with so much turnover along both lines of scrimmage. So I'm finding myself looking at Utah as a bit more of a top 35 type of proposition and not as much as a top 25 proposition.
Chip Patterson believing Utah's overrated in the AP preseason. I've seen stuff predicting Utah's going to go 4-5 in conference play. Seems low to me, but I do get the point. Just roll out of bed and think you're going to hit 10 wins. They did lose talent in the transfer portal. They did lose some high-end guys. They are counting on some transfers to come in and play, and there are questions along the defensive line to be sure. I think probably more along the defensive line than the O-line, but there are questions on the O-line. I think the performance against Nebraska in the bowl game is reassuring to people. Okay, that offensive line was awesome, but those guys were gone. They're off to the NFL, and they had to stitch something together, and it looked good. So they can stitch something together this year, and it can look good. Questions to be sure, and if there are injuries, which last year they were pretty healthy along the line, if there's injuries, then what happens, right? And so, but we've seen plenty of good coaches stumble coming out of the gate, and I just don't see how they're going to replace John Henry Daly. Now, I don't want to start quoting sack numbers, and he had a third of their sacks, and we just had Kelly Papinga in the last segment saying, sacks are overrated. And he's right, because turnovers are better than sacks, and you don't get turnovers off sacks very often. Once in a while, you get a strip sack, and those are great because the yardage and the chance for a scoop and score off them. But you want interceptions? Well, interceptions you get off hurries. And you get off hits. The guy's hit as he throws. The ball's wobbling up in the air. If you're in a zone, that's an easy pick because everybody can see it. So I get it. But, man, John Henry Daly, that's a really good player they lost. And they lost a half dozen of them. So losing those impact guys, I mean, you get good players in, but that's not the same as getting very good or great players in. It's not the same as getting difference makers. So I get the question marks. Stanford has a quarterback, Davis Warren, ex-Michigan QB. He's going to start there. Wisconsin names transfer Billy Edwards Jr. to start a quarterback for North Carolina against TCU in the opener. And Texas puts 4 players on the preseason AP All-America team. The SEC had 14. Only 2 Big 12 players. Cincinnati's guard, whose name I can't say, we'll just call him Evan. Degasdall? Sure. And Houston, Shadre Hurst, 2 offensive linemen. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Line drive, base hit center field. Here comes Kelly. Here's the throw to the plate. And Carson is in. And the Cubs take round 2. 4-3. They walk it off in the bottom of the ninth.
To this one. He swung on and driven to deep left field. Back goes Ewing at the wall. It's gone into the upper deck. Fly ball to right field. To the corner goes Fernando. At the wall. He leaps and Fernando! Yeah! Makes the grab! Fernando up into the air. Brings it down. Fernando takes it to deep right field. Bench going back at the wall. Leaps. It's gone. Fernando's second home run of the night.
Fernando Tatis, the star of the game. That Padres-Mets series has turned into quite the highlight factory. Tatis goes deep twice and then pulls a grand slam back into the park. And then, because he's theatrical beyond belief, he just stops and just kind of poses and stands there with no emotion, no disgust, no joy, just kind of stands there. And everybody's like, well, did you get it or not? Because he was running the wall. Sometimes they get to the wall and they're there a long time. They gather and jump and we can all see it. But he was just running, sprinting, sticks his arm up at the top of the wall, comes down. It's just not clear. You don't see the ball bouncing around, but it might be, but it's not. You don't know. And then he just kind of flips it out of his glove into his hand. Yeah, I'm Joe Cool, which, actually, he kind of is. I don't know how to put it, man. The game has changed. He bat flips after home runs, and back in the day, he got stuck in the ribs a few times, but not now. It's all okay now. So he hits 2 homers and pulls a grand slam back in the park, and the Padres win 5-2. A day after they had 3 runners thrown out at the plate by the Mets, as the Mets won Game 1 in that series. So that thing's been a bunch of highlights in that. The big story: Ketel Marte back in Phoenix after a no-show. He got knee testing. The Diamondbacks, who got blown out again. Not quite as bad, but nonetheless 9-4. They lose to Boston. And maybe they would have lost these games anyway. Boston's been playing great. But, man, in August, in the wild card race, that was a bad time for him to no-show. And it was not a good time, but that was a really bad time. Former Salt Lake Bee, Joe Adell, 455-foot homer, a mammoth shot. Guardians beat the Giants 8-1. And you want to blow out? You want to go home early because this one's over? I'm not a leave early I'm not leave the game early guy. I stay to the bitter end. There's very, very small number of times I've been willing to leave before it was over. Brewers 22, Mariners nothing. You could probably convince me to go. There's not a lot to stick around for at that point. It was 11-0 after 6. You know, you're good. Got somewhere to be. Let's go get something to eat. Okay.
I probably would have left right about there.
Beat some traffic. I don't know. You might have hit the traffic leading at that point. And then they had 2 in the 7th and 9 in the 8th. I didn't look it up. Did they put a shortstop in the pitch or a left fielder or something? Because a lot of times you save the bullpen at that point. Yeah, they left poor. Yeah, they left poor Leo Rivas out there. He's the third baseman. Sure enough, 1 run or 1 inning, he gave up 9 runs. I knew it. Throw the third baseman out there. 22-0. Biggest shutout, tied for the biggest shutout in modern baseball history. Bees won big, 14-3. Yeah. And the minor league, major league combo, Cody Bellinger could begin a rehab assignment Thursday. I mean, Aaron Judge is the big story, but it'd be good to get Bellinger back for the Yankees. Diaz goes to the injured list for the Dodgers. We were just talking about Edwin Diaz struggling, and now, sure enough, okay, he's pitching through something. They want to rest him. So, but now they're bringing Ohtani back. Throw him in the bullpen. So there's your baseball health updates. DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
I don't think we have the exact depth set yet, but Preston Rex is going to play this year. Devon's going to play this year. And then this kid, Journey, he's I don't know, we haven't ruled him out yet. He is explosive. Like, every time he touches the ball, something exciting happens, it seems like. So, and then obviously LJ and Sione are 2 lead guys, and they're both playing really good football.
You got to listen really close, not to what people say, but how they say it, because a lot of these people that we interview get interviewed so often. They are very good on the other side of the microphone, and it is not easy to do. I've done tons of interviews. I've only been interviewed a handful of times. Yeah, I found out I got way more reps on one side. I'm way better at one part of this than I am at the other. Good answer, DJ. Good answer. Very smooth. Am I getting tased right now? I got to pull it together. But A-Rod is smooth. But when A-Rod says, Journey, when coaches laugh like that when they say somebody's name, pay attention. That means something. How they say it matters. We can play that again later. Well, you can hit it now if you want. Journey. Okay, I feel 70-yard touchdowns coming. Maybe it's just me, but that's what I thought when I heard it.
I don't think we have the exact depth set yet, but Preston Rex is going to play this year. Devon's going to play this year. And then this kid, Journey, he's I don't know, we haven't ruled him out yet. He is explosive. Like, every time he touches the ball, something exciting happens, it seems like. So,
okay. There was a mini snort, and then there was a giggle. Journey. I could almost feel his head turn when he said it. I haven't seen the video. I'm sure it's out there. That means something to me. It means something to you. I don't know. It's up to you. But, man, when coaches talk like that, look out. BYU Notre Dame sold out. Now there's people advertising you get tickets for $26,000. For the low, low price of $20,000, you could put a down payment on a condo, or you could go to the BYU game. Stuart Mandel of The Athletic picked BYU to beat Houston in the Big 12 title game. Texas Tech on the title game. He's also the one who picked Utah to go 4-5 in conference that I just saw. I couldn't remember who it was at the time, but it was definitely Stuart Mandel. So you can check that out in The Athletic. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
I feel like naturally that's just how we practice, that's how we play, and that's just the emphasis of our defense. We're constantly trying to get these big havoc plays, as we call them, just like sacks, PBUs, TFLs, picks, stuff like that. You know, we're constantly sitting there tracking that and trying to get after that. So as a whole, as our defensive line group, as a defense, we're constantly trying to get home. It's a race to the quarterback.
That's Lance Holtzclaw, who I do think you're going to hear his name a lot. I mean, that's, if you're looking at one guy who's going to lead him in sacks, who's going to lead him in pressures, who's going to lead him in tackles for loss, that's a guy who ought to be getting upfield. And I think it's really consensus. Not that I spend a lot of time polling the media, but they tell you to get to practice early, and then everybody stands around talking. So you get a pretty good idea what people think. You start walking around random people, what do you think? Because we've probably got half an hour here. I don't talk to everybody because some of the people stand and sit in the sun, and I'm not doing it. I don't want to know that bad. But the people who stand under the tent, I'll talk to them all day long. Nate Ritchie's back. Utah adding a safety there, adding experience, fifth-year senior. Actually played in 2020 in the pandemic year. He played before the south end zone had been rebuilt. He was playing as it was being rebuilt. That'll date him right there. It's like carbon dating with fossils. Whoa, you played before the south end zone was finished? Oh, yeah. All right, I remember when. So the roster depth. Keep building it. Keep revealing these new guys. Who's going to emerge? Trey Reynolds, Nate Ritchie, Lance Holtzclaw. Who's going to star? Who's going to provide depth? All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Here's a ball up the right sideline for Yedlin with a lot of space. Racing across midfield. Back four retreating. He goes into the left channel. He goes central. Nutmegs. Leaves it for Gozo. Toe poke and a goal. Left side. Gozo beats the keeper. Bond goes to ground. The ball rolls into that far side panel. Gozo has his fourth goal, and RSL has a 2-goal lead. Got to play direct now. Sure enough, there's a 40-yard ball for RSL out of the back for Spearings. He turns, gets to midfield. Through ball for Gozo. We'll see if the flag stays down. It's down for now. Gozo into the area. Gozo shot. Gozo scores! And the flag stays down. And RSL has a 3-0 lead. Philip Quinton with a foul, and he got away. Nobody called it. Oh, it was a clear grab. RSL into possession. Caliscan to Gozo. Pops it up. Shoots. Scores! Well, there's the end of the Gozo highlights. It's finally official. Major League Soccer people and Crystal Palace people are arguing over details because the league actually owns the contracts of the players, so every deal is more complicated. There's a third side. It's not a two-way deal. It's a three-way deal because it's RSL and the league and Crystal Palace. Super complicated. But Gozo's deal is finally done. He's been over there for like a week. So now RSL finally has an open roster spot. And if you're wondering if they're looking, I was told yesterday, Kurt Schmid's in Europe right now looking. I was actually told where he's looking, what country, but I don't think we're supposed to talk about that. So, I got to hold on to that. I don't know what club. Dude, I've heard what country, but there's a limited number of targets, so just sit on that one for a while. All right, but he's in Europe. He's looking. They got to add somebody. They are shorthanded. DeAndre Yedlin is the best option right now. He's played wingback, but I don't think he can play wingback for 90 minutes, twice a week, every week for the next 6 weeks. And they only have one or two open midweek dates in there. They are going to be playing a lot, including tonight. FC Dallas, a team that just jumped over them in the standings. Dallas, a very short turnaround. They played and won on Sunday. It was their first win since May. Obviously, there was a World Cup break in there, but nonetheless, they had not been playing great. But they did get the win on Sunday. And they got 1 day to recover, 1 day to travel, and play again Wednesday. That's a brutal schedule. At elevation, I mean, Dallas has got to be complaining about that schedule and hating it. Why do we have to play on Sunday before we go to Utah on Wednesday? That's horrific scheduling. Advantage, RSL. Horrific scheduling. Tonight, pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7:30 here in the zone. And now RSL, because they just dropped 2 points, they got to get 3 tonight. They're going to Orlando. They got to fly cross country. They're going to have to rest some guys at some point. I think it makes sense that you would go for it at home and then rotate guys, get the 3 now and then rotate as many guys as you need to on the weekend in Orlando. All right, that's what's trending. This segment sponsored by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Question of the day is next. Stay with us.